Lamar looks like he's getting the start this week. And then the Ravens have a path. Also, we're going to go behind enemy lines with Jeff from Locked Bengals podcast. This and a couple things more right out.
Renegade. Renegade.
Hey guys, my name is Sunny and this is SCG Sports. If you like this video or if you like Ravens content, please think about subscribing to the channel. So, Lamar looks like he's gonna start this week. And I see mixed reviews on internet, right? On social media, on Twitter, on Facebook. I don't know. I think if Joe's hurt, he shouldn't start. I also think if, for some reason, and I don't expect us to lose this week, but if we lose this week, I think Joe should not play the rest of the week or the rest of the games because I don't see us making the playoffs. So let me start by talking what is the path to the playoff. If you follow Joe Nubo, I did a live with him and I explained how we have a path to the playoffs. But what I'm going to say is the path only is viable if we win this week. And it's a hard path. And right now, the analytics, the index power ranking from ESPN has us the second best chance to make that 6th seed. Titans are currently the best odds. But hey, if we tie with the Titans, we have that tiebreaker. What we don't want is a 3-way tie, and that head-to-head doesn't count, okay? So, win against the Bengals critical. I only have us losing 2 more games. KC and Atlanta. Atlanta's winnable. Especially after this week, I was like, okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we can beat Atlanta and just have that KC loss. And I think if you check the schedule, the other game that flashes is the Chargers game. And what I think is going to happen, the Chargers are going to be locking the 5th seed and they don't have anything to play for at that moment, only to stay healthy. And I think that's why the Ravens win. I don't think we're better than them on the road. Now, if Lamar starts, we'll see, right? There's rookie pains. And if you're a fan, you will know those rookie pains are coming. So that means things might change, but I think we still have that path to the draft or to the playoffs. So, guys, let's get started. What my keys to the game are, and these keys are basically Lamar starting. We need to run the ball, and we're gonna run the ball. But what that means is the linebackers and safeties are gonna be cheating. I'm expecting Smokey to keep going deep. Lamar has a good enough arm to get it to Smokey. But if everybody's just basically in the box, right? If you got 8, 9 people in the box, exploit it with Smokey. The other thing is RPOs. I'm expecting a lot of RPOs. But not only that, what I want to see is also shotgun or a shotgun. And you have 3 wide, 2 tight ends, empty backfield, right? And why do I expect that is because if you put everybody out there, and the O-line blocks, and they're fairly good pass blocking. If Lamar doesn't find anybody, take off. And I don't want, the one thing if Lamar's going to start that I don't want to see Lamar doing, he needs to slide. He hasn't been sliding, but it's because basically he's become a runner. I'm expecting basically them to do any gimmicky plays. Anything. Reverses, maybe throw to that Philly special, throw it to the QB. I'm expecting anything. I'm expecting Smokey to have a decent game. Lamar and Hurst seem to have a good connection, so I'm expecting Hurst to have a good game. Andrews maybe, but I haven't seen that connection with Lamar. Collins to have a better game because now the D linemen and the linebackers are going to be looking at Lamar, so, that's going to open lanes. I'm expecting them, if Lamar starts specifically, to use Ty Montgomery a lot. Why? Because remember that scenario that I said empty backfield? Montgomery can take one of the linebackers. So you can start him in the backfield or next to Lamar and then just split him out wide. Because like I said before in a previous video, he's more of a wide receiver that can run than a running back that can catch, if that makes sense. So, expecting a lot of Ty Montgomery. I think the Bengals currently are ranked 26 in the league on defense. We should pass the ball well. We should move the ball well. We should run the ball well. Like I said, I'm expecting the offense to be good either with Joe or Lamar. I'm actually excited if Lamar's gonna start. I'm excited to see him, to see what he can bring. And like I said, there's gonna be growing pains with Lamar Jackson, but it's part of having a rookie. Doesn't matter what rookie you have, right? Baker, there's growing pains with Baker, Darnold, Rosen, Allen, all of them. But this team has a lot of veterans that we can rally behind him and help him. Okay, so on defense, there's a big caveat for this game. Green is not there. Green had only 5 catches, not only. He had 5 catches for 64 yards, which isn't a lot of yardage, but he had 3 touchdowns. He always torched us. Now, the other guy, Boyd, he has 6 catches for 91 yards. I feel like Boyd lately has been really good against us. Since that 4 and 12 conversion for a touchdown, we don't need to relive that. But since that next game against us, which was week 2, he had a great game against us. So what I'm expecting, we don't have to worry about Green, thank God. So I'm expecting Humphries. He should be healthy on Boyd, and I want him to shadow Boyd everywhere that Boyd goes. And the other guy is that I'm expecting is Tavon Young to be on John Ross. Mixon is good. He had a good game against us. He had 84 yards. So Mosley needs to play better. He has been struggling, and I'm a Mosley fan, but he hasn't been playing good. So what I'm expecting is when Mixon is there, Mosley tackles him hard. Kenny Young tackles him hard. If there's a pass situation, Kenny Young takes Mixon. Mixon is pretty good. If you see Gio Bernard there, you're gonna put Kenny Young on him because Gio barely runs, but he has good hands. He's a good catcher, and he on the open field will make you miss and makes a big play. So what I'm expecting is against Gio, you put Kenny Young. If you hear the secondary coach talking, he seemed frustrated. We don't have picks. I think most of the fan base is. Seems like we're gonna do a lot of, or not a lot, but at least we're gonna do more zoning to try to get those picks. That's fine. I'm worried that if the pressure doesn't get there, they're gonna pick us apart. And one of the other keys that I have is we need to generate pressure, right? We got a cheap sack against Ben because Ben knew that he didn't want to throw it. That was the last offensive play that the Steelers ran. Big Ben was looking for the pass, but they said, I'm assuming what the coordinator said, like, don't force the pass, take the sack, right? So he tried. He didn't see anything. He took a sack. That was a cheap sack, but other than that, we didn't sack Cam, and we sacked Drew once, right? So we haven't been good on sacking the QB. So I'm expecting to force turnovers, to force pressure. Because that's the other thing. We didn't sack, but we didn't pressure either. So I'm okay if they're not sacking, but they're pressuring if the pressure goes for a 4 or 5 man rush, right? So defense. On the defensive side, pressure. I want to see Humphries on Boyd. I want to see Tavon Young on Russ. I want to see Kenny Young and Mosley playing good against that good running attack. I'm assuming they're going to try to run. Because if you think about it, Connor ran well against us. Kamara ran decent against us. And the running backs from the Panthers, McCaffrey, he ran well against us. So we need to stop the run. We need to shut down Mixon and force Dalton to throw since he doesn't have Green, right? Guys, I think this is a winnable game. I think their defense is bad and we should move the ball against us. If Lamar goes there, they don't have a lot of film against Lamar. I'm assuming what they're going to do is trying to contain the run. That's what I'm hoping. They allow him to throw more because I don't think they're going to be ready for Lamar to be throwing, right? So, on offense, throw the ball, run well, set up play action, help Lamar. O-line is going to be critical. PFF ranked us as 9. But what I'm expecting is, after the bye, is to see left tackle Stanley, left guard Hurst, Skur at center, which I don't agree with Skur at center, but whatever. Right guard Yanda, and then Seuss Jr. on right tackle. Ideally, that center will be Bozeman. But what I expect, not what I want, is to have Skur to Scurry at center and Hurst at left guard. Because I don't think Brown is losing that tackle position. Lewis has done way more than enough to lose that guard position. That's where Hurst was playing last year, and he played well. I'm expecting that to be the lineup for the five. So I'm expecting the O-line to be even better. We need to protect. Last game against them, Dunlap had a good game. The interior was just crushing Alex Lewis and Segura. Again, another reason why we need the shift. So, O-line to protect Jackson, run well so we can play action. Again, I want to keep Smokey going deep because I think everybody's going to be cheating inside to have those open lanes, open throws, and let Lamar chuck it, right? And let Smokey win on one-on-one. And if Lamar underthrows or it's a bad throw, it's a one-on-one. So Smokey should be coming back and hitting that ball for not to get a pick. And the tight ends, again, Hurst, this might be his coming out party because I think Lamar and him have a good relationship, a good chemistry. And on defense, we need to force pressure, if not sacks, pressure. And I think that's the recipe for winning. This is the score that I'm thinking we're going to have. 24-10 Ravens. Since he came from letting 51 points to the Saints. But hey, we're not the Saints, right? So, like I said earlier, we got to go behind enemy lines. So I'll let you and my boy Jeff, and he's going to give you why he thinks Cincy, their keys to the game and maybe winning. I don't know. We'll see.
What's up, SCG Sports? My name is Jeff Carr, and coming to you today from Cincinnati, Ohio. Here to talk Bengals from behind enemy lines, getting you set for this awesome matchup between the Ravens and the Bengals from M&T Bank Stadium coming up this Sunday. I want to thank SZG Sports for having me on. I'm a writer over at LockedOnBengals.com. You can check my stuff out over there. And also, if you're a baseball fan, I write for LockedOnReds.com. And I have my own website, sportsanati.com, where I cover all things Queen City sports and even dive into some movies and video games, talk about Red Dead Redemption 2. Love that game. But today, we're talking football. Got Bengals stuff for you ahead of Week 11 matchup, getting set for Ravens-Bengals, AFC North. Let's get into it. Little history of this matchup. Talking about the all-time record between the two teams, Cincinnati holds a 23-22 advantage. It's not saying a whole lot. That's definitely showing the awesomeness of this AFC North rivalry. Now, in the last 17 games dating back to the 2010 season, the Bengals hold a 10-7 advantage, and that includes this last win over the Ravens at Paul Brown Stadium on Thursday night. A very rare occasion for the Bengals to win a primetime game, but they were able to pull it out early on in the season. Now, since that win, the Bengals have been a different team. In the 7 games following the Thursday night win against the Ravens, they are 3-4, including 2 blowout losses, one at Kansas City and one at home last week to New Orleans. A loss of which I have not seen in the Marvin Lewis era at Paul Brown Stadium, 51-14. That led to today's news, of which the Bengals have fired their defensive coordinator, Terrell Austin, as the defense itself is last in the NFL in yards allowed, averaging close to 450 yards per game allowed to opposing offenses, and they are second to last in the NFL in points scored against them. So, improvements needed. The good news is, if we're Bengals fans, it's only uphill from here. The biggest problem the Bengals will have this week against the Ravens will be on the offensive side of the football. Last week, they did not have A.J. Green in the lineup, and they're not going to have him once again. So that leaves Tyler Boyd as the number one option. Boyd really thrives whenever he's the complementary receiver that is not being double-teamed like he was this past week against New Orleans. He kind of got blanketed, and Andy was not able to feature him in the passing game, forcing him to go to other guys like John Ross, Cody Core, Josh Malone, Alex Erickson, guys like that, who he doesn't quite have the trust that he has with Boyd that he's built up with this season, and he definitely doesn't have that kind of trust that he has with A.J. Green. A.J. Green is one of the 5 best receivers in the NFL. He's always been a thorn in the side of Baltimore. They've done a pretty good job in some games against him of corralling him in, but he always seems to make a play here or there that springs the Bengals offense into a scoring drive. They're not going to have that shot in the arm this week. They're not going to have the shot in the arm that Tyler Eifert gives them. And they're going to have to really feature Joe Mixon, something they didn't do against the Saints. He got 13 total touches, 2 targets in the passing game, with which he turned into 24 yards receiving, and 11 carries for 61 yards on the ground. That's great numbers average per touch, but it's almost as if they just abandoned going to him altogether, even in the passing game, once they got down by the margin with which they ended up losing. So that's going to be a key to this game. It's been a key in every game, and it just doesn't seem like they are looking to get the ball to Joe Mixon. I'm hoping that changes this week against the Ravens, because that's really going to be the number one key to beating Baltimore. That being said, your all's defense is amazing. The best in the NFL once again. Statistically, I think they're best in the NFL anyway. Talent-wise, it's not the same kind of defense that Baltimore's used to having, but it's still really, really good. It's something that Andy's going to have trouble with at M&T Bank Stadium. I know that his numbers are sort of up and down when it comes to this rivalry game. He has 19 total touchdowns in his career against Baltimore, right next to 17 interceptions. He averages 255 yards per game, which over the years hasn't been so bad, but this year that's going to have to be better. Passing is what's winning games in the NFL this year, and that's no different against the Baltimore defense, who is really stout against the run. I look for Baltimore to take Joe Mixon away and force Andy to beat them, just like New Orleans did, and New Orleans was pretty successful with it. I think Baltimore has a better defense than New Orleans talent-wise, so this could be a game in which the Ravens are able to get out ahead pretty quickly and just sit on the lead. So putting it all together for this Bengals team, I'm confused. Before the season, I didn't really know what to make of them, to know exactly where to expect this season to end. Then in the beginning of the season, they were really strong, had a couple of comeback wins against the Falcons and the Dolphins, and went out early against the Ravens and were able to hang on, and even did the same against the Buccaneers despite giving up the entire lead. But it's like here lately they've completely changed the script. The defense is horrid. That's why they got rid of the defensive coordinator today. The offense isn't much better, especially without A.J. Green and no Tyler Eifert. They haven't been able to replace those guys' production with anyone else on the team, and they didn't go out and get anybody else to help bolster the offense. Andy Dalton looked completely lost against the Saints, and I'm not really sure where he finds his momentum against the Ravens defense that has been pretty good ever since that Week 2 loss to the Bengals. I really feel like the Ravens take this game. I'd say Ravens 35, Bengals 21. Doesn't really feel like the Bengals are going to win this one. So take that and run with it, Baltimore. Go have a party right now. Just get ready. You guys are going to be in the driver's seat for the wild card come Week 12. So again, thanks for having me. Again, my name is Jeff Carr. I'm over at LockedOnBengals.com, and check me out on Twitter at Jeff with 3 F's, Carr, C-A-R-R. See you guys.
Okay, thanks, Jeff. I don't know, guys. What do you guys think of what he said? Leave comments below. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel. Every game preview I try to do behind enemy lines with a podcaster from another team or a YouTuber from another team. So you can check past videos on the playlist. But let me know what you think. What is your score prediction? Are the Ravens winning, losing? Do you see that path to the playoffs or not? So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Again, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter at szgsports. I will see you next time, guys.